divine visitations. I'm reminded that today, the 25th of March, is the feast of the Annunciation in the Church's calendar. For those who've forgotten their Sunday school training, this celebrates the announcement by the angel Gabriel, Gabe as we like to call him, to Mary that she was just about to experience a little inconvenience, namely that she was about to conceive a child without any of the accompanying fun. God didn't even ask her out to dinner first. So girls, this just goes to show that even the most reliable form of contraception, total abstinence, is not 100% reliable when a deity wants to have his way with you. It's also a reminder, kids, that it's exactly 9 months to Christmas. This feast brings to mind two things. First, bandwagon jumping is not a new phenomenon. We see this today all the time. Once 50 Shades of Grey became a hit, we began to see 50 Shades of everything and probably 49 and a half shades of everything else. One successful vampire novel and everybody's aunt and uncle is writing vampire novels. Well, the church has been no different throughout the ages. March the 25th happens to coincide, approximately at least, with the vernal equinox, at least in the northern hemisphere. The vernal equinox is the point on the calendar when the days start to become longer than the nights, again, in the north. So in pagan belief, it's regarded as a time of rebirth and fertility. So why not, if you're the church, jump on this particular bandwagon and begin to identify this with a significant moment in the life of Jesus. It's particularly fortuitous, or maybe clever planning, that this also generally occurs at a time when the church is preparing to remember the death of Jesus. Good Friday usually falls after this date, but occasionally it does fall before the 25th of March, and occasionally even on the 25th of March. But this is all very sensible on the point of the church. Don't fight it, co-opt it. The church continues to jump on bandwagons even today, and who can blame it? It's not surprising that once the green movement was well underway, the church suddenly realised that Jesus was a greenie all along. Or with the feminist movement in full swing, that Jesus was, in fact, a proto-feminist. Of course he was. When life is finally discovered on other planets in this galaxy, the church will realise that maybe Jesus is from Alpha Centauri. The identification of Jesus with the feminist movement brings me to the second point. Goddesses have been rather popular throughout the history of religion. But Judaism, Christianity and Islam, unfortunately, were rather boringly masculine and monotheistic. Some parts of Judaism overcame this by introducing a feminine element into the divine via the Shekinah, a feminine concept denoting the divine presence. Feminine elements of the divine re-enter Islam via the mystical Sufi movement. Well, luckily, Christianity had a virgin handy. I'm not meaning to be cynical here. No, really, I'm not. There is a strong drive within religion and spirituality for there to be some feminine expression of the divine in people's lives. After all, motherhood is a very powerful image. The church could probably have done nothing to prevent this feminine element from creeping back into the Christian tradition. So, rather than fight it, why not use Mary to co-opt it? All of this goes to show that there are certain things in the world related to human life and death that give rise in us to a sense of awe and or fear. Motherhood and birth and death, these are still things that can send a shiver down our spine. The change of the seasons, well, what better time to remind us of the fragility of life on the planet, how dependent we are on the planet for our survival. And what better time to remind ourselves how busy we are screwing all that up. It's not difficult to see how religion can take hold, but I make the point again that none of this has anything to do with an actual God or gods. These provide a mythical framework within which to understand and deal with these issues. But they're a bit like the stake that holds up the young tree. Once the tree has the strength to stand alone, the stake is no longer necessary.